Alright, today's video is going to be short because my mom is picking me up to go help my siblings move. They're going to New York. So, anyway, yeah, I discovered Storygraph yesterday. I was watching a live stream and the person was talking about how they left Goodreads to come to Storygraph. So I checked it out, and here is the cool, unique thing that you don't really get on Goodreads, so I wanted to show you. I set this up. So we now have if you are on Storygraph, there is now under the reading challenges, I Read Dead People Book Club 2022. So I could have went ahead and put 2023 on there as well, but I thought, we'll do it per year, and that way it'll be easier for you to knock off the challenges instead of just having it be a never-ending list for years and years and years if we keep up with this book club that long. But anyway, yeah, so it starts October 1st, so I backdated it, and it will end at the end of the year because this is 2022. So when you find it, you'll just click join, and then you'll see your challenge progress as well. And then the challenge prompts. So our first one, our October pick, was Frankenstein. Now it will let you, as a member, add books. Please do not, because you will ruin the challenge, because the challenge is not to read any classic, it's to read the specific classic. So please do not add books. If you have a different edition or something that's available, feel free to add that. As long as it's the Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, you're good to go. You can add whatever edition you want. I literally just picked like the first ones. And then, of course, November is going to be Dracula. And December is going to be Wuthering Heights. So I will put up a 2023 one at some point. This is very bare bones. I just did it in like 5 minutes. So it is live. It might not be easily searchable right now. So, browse. Let's see if this will work to browse. So we're going to browse, and we're going to put in I Read Dead People. And see if that pops up. It does. So here it is. And then to confirm that it's mine, it's the Heather_Dow. So that's how you can easily join in on this. Of course, we still have Discord and everything, but since I am going to start using Storygraph, that is why I went ahead and set it up over here. So other cool things that Storygraph has, they do have giveaways. And what's unique about them is that they also have audiobook options. And it will kind of filter out the results for you too, for what it thinks you would most like. So that's super cool. Plus, there's way less to enter than there is on Goodreads, so you don't get too overwhelmed. And you don't have to add the books to your shelf just to enter. So that is really cool and sets it apart. Then you've got the community tab. I'm not following anyone right now, because I just set this up last night, but it will kind of suggest, it'll show you people's feeds. And then over here, this is really cool. It shows you similar users. So people who read similarly to you, and you can click on them and you can see their stats pages and their books and all of that kind of stuff, which would be a really cool thing to do if you look at their 5 stars. So let's just click on this last one right here. So it'll show you what they're currently reading. It'll show you what they've recently read. And then it shows you the 5-star reads. So this is where you would really click the view all and see how much of your stuff is similar. As well as if you want someone who reads around the same amount of books as you. And then you also have their owned books if they have that in there. Which is cool because that will give you a good idea of what they'll be reading in the future. And then they've got a to-read pile. And then here is really cool. So everyone's profile kind of has a breakdown like this, where it says mainly reads, and then whatever they read. And then like the 3 tags or whatever that they most often see. And then the pacing and the page count. So that's a really cool way even to learn stuff about yourself. And then you can do the follow button if you want to. And then there's a thing called Buddy Reads, which I can't do this yet because I haven't added anybody. But when you have friends, you could pick the friend, and then if you have the plus, then you can have the plus one suggest a book where it will scour both of your TBR lists, and I guess it'll find one that's either the same or has similar taste, and it can pick a book for you to buddy read that way. I do not have the plus plan. I'm not made of money right now. But yeah, so I already showed you giveaways. I showed you community. And I showed you the reading challenges. So reading challenges, you're able to put in how many books you want to read for the year. I only put in 200 just to see if I would be on track or not. So apparently I'm 3 books ahead, which no. If I have to read 35 more books by the end of the year, I'm not 3 books ahead. But because I've read so many, it is taking that average into account and not my current reading speed, which is very slow. Then you've got your page count goal that you can put in there, and you can even do hours listened if you track your audiobooks separately. And the other cool thing is that if you do listen to audiobooks on here, you can have it use the print edition and to have page numbers instead of hours. So that's really cool. And then it'll show you all of the challenges that you've entered, and then of course any challenges that you host. So up here, I guess you can archive stuff if you don't want it anymore, like say a 2023 challenge. And then the browse button is where we went a minute ago. So Storygraph hosts 3 different challenges. And then there is also like the community-based host over here. So maybe if you were like, for this author's publisher series, you're like, I want to read all of this author. Then you can see if someone's already put one up. But if they haven't, then you can create your own by clicking create new. So that's super simple. Stats page. The stats are so beautiful. So you can do it by year, or you can select the month that you want it to be for. And then if you have the plus feature, you can compare 2 different time periods. So let's say it's year 2023, and I want to compare how I did in 2022 January versus 2023 January. So that's kind of cool. So the plus features do offer a lot, but like I said, I just don't have the money right now. But it's like $4.99 a month, so a lot of people could use it. All right, so then, yeah, so reading stats. It's got how I'm doing on my goals up here. And then this just gives you an opportunity to skip to a certain section if you only want to know about a certain section. But you don't have to change anything there. It'll still show you all of your stats. So like by mood, my biggest mood is adventurous. And these tags come from readers after they finish the book. So it's a bit more accurate than other places. My mom just pulled into the driveway, so I'm going to have to be quick. Then you've got the pacing. This is interesting because when I clicked on slow pacing, because I consider myself to not like slow pacing, almost all of the books that were there were my 1 and 2 stars. So I know myself at least in that respect. And then your page numbers, and then fiction versus nonfiction, and the one that's written as nonfiction was actually inaccurate. And here is the really cool thing. You might think you're one type of reader, but then when you look at your stats, it might have a different view of what you actually read. Like me, I'm like, I consider sci-fi to be my favorite, but I've only read 13 of those, whereas with romance, I've read 67. So I really think that that is super cool. And then you've got the format, which this one is inaccurate for me. So you probably have to manipulate it after you first enter your books. Most read authors. I read a lot of big series this year, which is why you see some with like 11 books for one author. It's just multiple series by them. The languages, I did not read anything in Welsh. And then, of course, your books read versus the pages, and then your star rating breakdown. And then there's even more additional stuff when you do plus. So, like, it could tell me of the 5 stars, like what are those genres and stuff like that, which could be really cool information. And then there is the homepage, which will give you your to be read pile, which I just put in books that I physically own here and kept it real simple. Then it will also recommend you books, and you kind of put in the guide for what you want them to recommend in your reader preferences, and then there's giveaways. So reader preferences, you would go up here, and then you've got your profile, and then you've got preferences. So you just click preferences, and then you could put in how you want stuff tracked, all that stuff. And then you can also do your profile. I'm going to do this in case it like shows information I don't want y'all to see or something. So here's my profile right here. And you can do reading preferences, and that's where you would put in some specifics. And then if you want to see your bookshelf, that's kind of the hardest thing to find. But if you go to your profile on here, you can look at your read, your 5 stars, a whole bunch of different stuff. But I gotta go. I gotta go. If y'all want to see more later, let me know. Bye.